In Curitiba, they've been going green since the 1980s, even before it was the thing to do. And at the forefront of its green movement is the city's dedication to recycling. At 21% of refuse, it has the highest recycling rate in Brazil and amongst the highest anywhere in the world. Here in Curitiba, they've raised recycling almost to an art. There are bins for paper, for plastics, for metals, for foodstuffs, oh, and for glass. Garbage that is not garbage. Curitiba's campaign to get people to separate their recyclables. It aims to get people into the mindset that things can be reused and not everything has to go into the trash.
We are always working with environmental education. So we have these different bins trying to educate people. We're still collecting everything that we get, but we are trying to sensibilize people that they should already separate even in their houses.
Claudine de Oliveira lives in an outlying neighbourhood of Curitiba. And for citizens like him, recycling has become more of a challenge. Narrow roads make it harder for the trucks to collect recyclables in neighbourhoods like this. So the city developed the Green Exchange to meet them halfway.
What we do, we go to the leadership of that community and we say, well, let's establish a place where everybody can bring their waste here, a place where the truck can come in, we collect all the waste, and they're going to say, well, but why this population is going to do that? They have to bring their waste from home. Okay, so let's put something together that can make interesting for them.
Once a week, residents at one of 34 different locations around the city can line up to exchange their garbage for fresh fruit and vegetables. It's simple. 4 kilograms of trash equals 1 kilogram of food. The program helps keep the trash out of the river and off the streets, and Oliveira says helps everybody.
Our objective is to have all these areas urbanized and make it regular by the legislation so people can develop and have other jobs that they won't be depending so much on the city hall. But as long as we have these people we need, we're going to keep these programs running and trying to help us clean the city and help them having something to eat on their table.
Government campaigns and programs aren't the only thing keeping Curitiba neat and tidy. Another group of people have found a way to make recycling a big business.
What we collect is a very small part of what is generated in the city because the carrinheiros come before us. They collect everything which is valuable and then we collect what's left from that waste.
The carrinheiros, considered Curitiba's freelance garbage men, collect garbage from within the city and then wheel it, piled high, back to their houses. Here, they separate the trash into different categories and then sell it back to private recycling companies. Many of the carrinheiros have come from rural areas surrounding the city. The economic growth attracting them here.
They come to the big city because they think in the big city they're going to have the best opportunities. Sometimes that doesn't happen that way, so they end up being in the river margin.
Because these low-income populations have settled around the river, their trash and sewage has started to cause water pollution, and that's now flowing into the city. Curitiba's trying to help prevent this by moving the settlements more inland and into government housing.
Since 2007 we have developed a specific plan to address these people which are in danger of being in the river margin, trying to bring them to another place where they're going to have all the infrastructure they need. They're going to have good lives and good infrastructure.
Each house costs about $23,000 to build, has a monthly rent of around $17. But even after the carinheros are provided with this new housing, the trash comes with them. One man we met has not even lived here for a month, and his trash is already infiltrating the yard. He tells us that tin cans are one of the most coveted items because he gets a little more than $1 for 1 kilogram. If the idea was to keep the streets clean and help the poor, then the policy's been a success. But it has had the unintended consequence of shifting this rubbish from downtown to the poorer outer neighbourhoods. At least for the people who live here, it's a case of not in my backyard. Curitiba has gotten people away from the river. Now the challenge is to get them to keep their new neighbourhoods green.
What we have been doing is trying to organize these people in cooperatives, and we are giving them a space where they have several small slots where they can bring their stuff. They don't have to pay to anybody to.
The unmistakable colours of the bus system in Curitiba, Brazil. Moving more than 2 million passengers around each workday, it's a network that's been admired worldwide as a triumph of urban planning. The system was built in the 1970s. It's become a dominant feature of the city's design. The main arteries are lanes dedicated only to buses. No cars allowed. The buses move quickly without worrying about traffic. In other words, the bus is behaving like a subway.
We knew that we didn't have the money for a metro or for a tube, and we realized, why not on surface?
The architect Jamie Lerner helped develop Curitiba's rapid bus transit system.
It has to be fast, it has to have some comfort, and most of all, reliability.
High-rises can only be built along the exclusive bus lanes, so the city is spread out away from the centre. It results in less concentrated areas and less traffic.
This system also was created to help the urban growth and allow it to be done with proper planning, allowing more people to live in smaller areas, living, studying and working around this transportation system.
Right, just one, please. After hearing so much about this bus system, I needed to try it myself. Passengers pay at these tube stations to speed up the process of boarding the bus. Here comes the bus. It's certainly popular. Easy to use. It gets pretty crowded. With Curitiba's growing population, the buses are starting to reach capacity. The city's growth has brought wealth. In 2009, Curitiba had a per capita income of $12,000. More money, more people. So now, more cars.
In
Curitiba has the biggest number of cars per capita in Brazil. Therefore, we have these challenges that all big cities of the modern world have to face. It is difficult today because the use of individual transportation is very personal.
To address this growing car problem, Curitiba is sticking with what it knows best.
We average over 2 million passengers in our system daily. This forces us to work hard to make sure our transportation system works well, with quality and affordable prices, as well as being efficient, moving people fast from one point to another.
One of the first steps is to expand the system, adding the Green Line. It started in 2008. It will add 9 kilometres to the existing 72 kilometres of exclusive bus lanes. It will transport 32,000 people a day.
The Green Line used to be just a highway that connects the south of the country to the north of the country, a link to important cities like Sao Paulo and Porto Alegre. We used to have a very heavy flow of cars, trucks, buses.
Now, this former federal highway has Curitiba's 6th exclusive bus lane. And it's testing out the new biodiesel buses that one day could be used for the whole city.
We've committed to operating 10% of buses on biofuels using either ethanol or vegetable oils. We're looking at adding about another 150 buses using biofuels to the fleet.
The city knows expanding the buses isn't the only answer. It must also improve existing infrastructure.
We are working on a new passing system now to allow passing on the dedicated lanes so we could have everything flowing faster, more buses in use in the lane, and subsequently more people moved.
The number of cars may be growing, but Curitiba has no plans to adapt the system to accommodate this growth. For this city, the key is sustainability.
If you always choose the public transportation over driving, you'll be automatically making people see that a car with only one person on it makes no sense. This isn't sustainable, this isn't viable for the future.
The buses have worked well, and yet the future of Curitiba's transportation could ultimately lead back to a plan it once thought was too expensive.
We can't leave aside the idea of a metro in the future. We are already discussing the financing with the federal government, since it's a very expensive investment.
We are complementing the bus system with the subway system, ultimately all the non-polluting transportation systems that could be used by most people, moving people within the city on a sustainable manner.
With its tubes, its platforms and its buses, Curitiba has been at the centre of mass transit thinking for a quarter of a century. Now, with the refinements being planned and the intention to build underground, Curitiba's determined to remain a future city. Richard Quest, CNN, Curitiba, Brazil.